If you remember, in lecture 4, we used a weather tool in Claude Desktop to get the weather forecast of a specific city. Now I will show you that, how I installed it, so you can do that as well. And then after that, if you are a developer, you can go to next section and I will teach you how you can create your own MCP servers and clients. So to install the weather tool in Claude Desktop, obviously the first thing you need is the Claude Desktop. So open a browser, navigate to Claude.ai/download and download the Claude Desktop for your operating system. I use a Mac with Intel CPU, so I use Mac OS. If you use Windows, obviously you will use Windows. Once you have Claude Desktop installed, it will look like this. Next thing that you need to do is to find where the executable file of Claude Desktop is. If you use Windows, it's easy to find where the executable of Claude Desktop is because you just right-click on its shortcut on the Start menu or wherever it is, and then you navigate to its including folder. In Mac, it will be in Library, Application Support, /Claude. You need to create a file called Claude_desktop_config.json. When you install Claude Desktop for the first time, this file doesn't exist. So you need to create it. I use Visual Studio Code to create this file. Then you need an MCP tool and you can get one from GitHub. The MCP tool that I want to use as an example is called MCP Weather Server. The reason I chose this one is that it doesn't need any API key or anything like that and it's easy to set up. But if you want to use a different weather server, by all means you can do that. Before I show you how we install this, let's have a look at what language is basically written in. So if we go to source folder, you will see that the extension of files are py. That means that these are Python scripts. So Python is an interpreter, so you need to have Python on your machine. Likewise, if you use Java, for example, you need to have JDK on your machine. However, some programming languages like Go can create a binary file, so you may not need to have Go on your machine. So the first thing you need to know is that what language is used to create the MCP server and understand the dependencies and make sure you install the dependencies. So if you don't have Python on your machine, just go to Google and Google install Python and install it on your machine. If you don't know whether you have Python or not, open a terminal and type which Python. If you get a path like this, you do have Python, otherwise you do not have Python. So if you don't have Python, just Google install Python and download it and install it. Back to our repository in GitHub, you will see that there is installation instructions for installing this MCP server. So the creator of this MCP server has added MCP server as a module to pip, which is a package manager for Python. So if you just go to terminal and run this command, you will get the MCP weather server. You may need to change pip to pip3 if you use Python 3 like this, and then it will install it for you. It says already satisfied because I have already installed it. The next thing is to copy this configuration and paste it into your Claude Desktop config file. The one that I said doesn't exist and you need to create it. So I create this Claude Desktop config.json file in Visual Studio Code and I pasted it in here. If your Python is in your path, then you don't need to have the full path. Mine, for some reasons, wasn't. So I added it here. MCP Weather Server is installed with pip, so it doesn't need a full path. Because MCP Weather Server is a module, but we want to run it like a script, we need the -m parameter as well. And then you just save this. Once you save this, close Claude Desktop and launch it again. So it will look like this. If you have installed this Weather MCP correctly, when you click on this icon, you will see Weather here. By default, it's disabled because every MCP server needs your approval before any AI assistant, such as Claude Desktop, execute them. So you turn it on, and then you can ask a prompt. For example, you can say, what is the weather like in, say, some random city like Cairo tomorrow? Like always, we have to approve the execution of this tool. This is the request that has been created by Claude, and it uses AI to do it, and then it gives you the response. It says tomorrow it's going to be 28.1 TOPS. Now you may think how I can find more MCP servers like this and use. To do that, there is a website called smithery.ai. It's like a repository for MCP servers. You can go here and search for what you want or just browse them. There is also a playground. For example, say, I don't know what this Norton is, but say you want to play with this. You click on it, and then it has try in playground, and then you can go here and use it. Some of these, or sometimes many of these, may not work properly because either they need API key, or they may have bugs in them and may not work properly. So you need to try to see what works, what doesn't. If it does connect properly, then you can just type your prompt here, and also you can decide what model you want to use. Like default is GPT, but if you want to use Claude, you can change to Claude Sonnet and then enter a prompt, and then you can test these MCP servers here. However, as I said, many of these servers are new. They are written by different developers. I only use this website as a way to find MCP servers, and if I want to try one of them, what I do is that I just go to their details, and then from there I go to their GitHub repository, which is this icon. I have used several of these MCP servers, and often I need to debug it myself and fix the bugs. So as I said before, MCP servers are quite new. They are very developer heavy. We don't really have like a UI that non-developer people can easily use. In the future, it will change definitely, and it will be easier to use them. For now, if you go to Smithery, you can find them, you can install them, and you can use them if you know how to configure them. If you are a developer, in the next section, you can learn how you can develop your own MCP servers.